ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. Today I want to talk to you for a moment, a very short moment, on a subject matter that is just as important as life itself. One was the beginning of life, which we call birth, and the other is when we pass on from here, which we call death. I've spent better half of my life trying to find some way to free the public from the constraints of a lie. And I've had very little success. So I want to share a major secret with you. Something that is a strange thing. And that strange thing, as I mentioned earlier, is death. You ever wonder how important death is? In heaven, God promised death, promised to kill you for disobedience. And you come to the material world and mankind promised for disobedience and disallowing them to control you. They'll kill you. And it just doesn't make any sense that any time that man and God is making the same statement, there's a big lie in the middle. God says, "Thou shalt not kill," but man goes and kills and says God permitted it. God says you will surely die. And man says you will surely die. There's something wrong about that. I propose to say that this is the voice of man speaking and not God. You see, death is the one thing that is important to everyone. It's even important for controlling others. But an individual can use death as a key to freedom rather than chains to bondage. They want you to kill for them or die for them. Either one doesn't make them any difference. But you can use that key for freedom rather than chains. You see, as a key, you hold how you use it. You control it. It becomes a convenience to resist bondage. Bondage from other men. But to protect itself and its power over the people, they, the government, teaches that your creator God, one of the worst things that can happen and you will not be forgiven for, is self-murder. And they, the government, will kill before they permit a suicide. A suicide. They will do this for someone resisting control. As I see it, the current purpose in life is to change the world, or to cause the world to get rid of you as soon as possible. And in truth, I've concluded that I, speaking of me, cannot support America's business as usual, its national argument. I've been given a vision that's so vivid, that is so clear, that it makes America stand out in all of its ugliness, as well as the world. And because the picture was so clear, not only did the ugliness of America stand out, but how to correct it was just as clear. And especially now, at a time when America has said that evil is okay through its voting process. Give them a chance, they say. It might not be so bad. Well, then at a time like this, a situation as easy or as simple or as small as the non-payment of a speeding ticket is worth going and giving up your bondage by going to jail or prison or even death for your freedom. It is a message that you must learn as an individual. Jesus taught it. Many men have followed the path, as Gandhi, as the Kennedy brothers, as Abe Lincoln, as Malcolm, as Martin Luther. But the ones that we know, Malcolm and Martin Luther, or the Kennedys, did they learn from those wonderful examples? No. The Kennedy family continued to follow the law of the state as it is. The Malcolm's ex's children and families still can follow the law as it is. And so do Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. They follow the laws of this nation as is. They might talk a different God, but they follow the laws of the state as is. Martin Luther King's people, his children, and its religion, Christianity, they follow the law of the state as it is. In fact, many of the went and voted for the evil that is now in the seat of power in this nation. And that's as when I asked the young man, if you lived in a state and everybody was blind, including you, the one I'm talking to, you, and some morning you woke up and you found that you had a new experience, you could see, and everybody else was blind, how would you deal with that situation? The young man, 16 years old, I asked him because he has a reputation of being kind of learning, you know. And I said, I want you to think about this and give me your reply later. He said, well, I got an answer now. And I said, okay, share it with me. And he said, well, I compare that to living in a cage where it's dark and the most you can see are shadows. And if somebody stumble outside and they get a chance to walk into the light and to see things as they really are, and came back into the cage excited about the newfound reality and wanted to share with everybody, and they killed him because it's disrupted the order in the cage. Then, he said, I guess when I come back in the cage, I would pretend as if I'm blind just to stay alive and survive. And that was an honest statement, because what it really does, ladies and gentlemen, it represents what people in this country are doing. I would say people all over the world, but since I'm not all over the world, I am here. That's exactly what people are doing. You got people here in this country who profess to be filled with fire, burning with Holy Ghost, love God with all their heart, God will they'll do anything God asks them to do, all of this and all of that. And yet they went to the polls and voted for evil. Because that's their understanding. They have no true, real knowledge of God. It's just symbolic. Somebody says it's a tradition. So, the ones who are led by the Spirit of God do not walk to the dictates of other men. See, what I'm telling you is stuff you don't know. So you can either make a decision as to whether you want to be like what I'm saying to you and make a choice to find out more information, or you can be given the vision whereby a responsibility comes with that. Your life is no longer your own. Now you must present yourself before the public who have no real knowledge of God except what they've heard. Now they must see the work of God through you by standing up and resisting what you have been shown is a lie. And so, this is it. America closing their eyes, acting like they don't see. And they expect those who talk about God and Allah, they expect to be forgiven. It's one thing to be forgiven for being rotten. It's another thing to take your rottenness and mix it in a barrel of unrottenness. Ripe, good stuff. Do you think that any power of love would take you rotten and stick you with something good? Except that good was to change you. But in a barrel of apples, there's not one rotten one that's going to stay in there. Now, when it comes down to human beings, all I can say to you is this. If you think you get in that barrel with those good apples, brother, it's going to be because you good. It's not going to be because somebody forgiving you and you're going to take your rotten self up in that thing. It just ain't happening. So, let me say this. Let me wrap this up real fast. What I am saying to you is this. Death is your benefit. No one can control you. You got three things on your side. You got choice. You can one way, or you can the other way, or you can just leave it all alone. That's as powerful as it gets. You can walk into this world and make a decision about who you are and what you're going to be and follow it to the T. And as long as you follow it to the T, your joy will be immeasurable. And if it's a righteous one, where you cause no pain and suffering to anybody else, and somebody try to hold you in bondage to force you to do something else, you know you can allow them to take you out if you want. The joy is even more profound. Or you can laugh at them and take yourself out. That's what it is. Resisting, that's what it's all about. Resisting the control of Satan. If you take out yourself because you're resisting the control of Satan, it's another step in a positive direction. It's better, I would say, if you were eliminated because you were showing off the goodness of God and people could see God in you. To me, if the devil take you out, that would be great. But if you laugh at the devil and say you can have this junk and take yourself out, at least you're not rotten. And in that bushel of apples, nobody would be running from you. Bye-bye.